Hello sorcerers, welcome to the channel. Today we have finally received our Kickstarter allocation for the new TCG Sorcery contested realm. So I thought together we could open this pre-constructed deck box and have a look at what all the fuss is about. Sorcery is an old school TCG for players with rich imagination, tactical nerve, and an appreciation for hand-painted art. So if you're not aware, the art in this game is absolutely bonkers. Here's a great example. This is the Mirror Realm playmat. Beautiful artwork. Yes, this box contains 4 ready-to-play starter decks. We'll start off with the Fire deck today, I think. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go. Alrighty. So what do we find within? Beautiful packaging too to go along with the beautiful artwork. Alright, so here we go. We have the pre-constructed air deck. Pre-constructed fire. I'll put that one here because we're going to go through that one first. Pre-constructed water. And lastly, of course, pre-constructed earth. So I'll go through those 3 decks in separate videos, I think. We also have a sort of quick start little information guide here on the rules of the game. I believe, yes, download the complete rules using the QR code there, but plenty of detail here. Enough to get you started. I think we'll probably do a separate video on actually playing the game and what the rules are. And lastly, we have some rubble. So when a site is destroyed, it becomes rubble, so you can use these cards to indicate that on the battlefield. Beautiful. Let's look at that. That detail. Jeff Menger's lovely work. Yes, and also some tokens. Look at these little guys. Quarter-size little tokens. Foot soldiers. Ordinary mortals, March 4th. And 1 booster pack of Alpha, which will open up at the end here. I'll put that aside. Alrighty, so here we go. Pre-constructed fire deck. I love the avatar artwork for this one. But the main reason is because I've got these ruby dragon shields that we'll use to sleeve up the cards as we go through. So a bit of a background on me. I'm a long-term Magic the Gathering player. Started back in 1995 or 1996. And I've been playing pretty much ever since. So when I saw the Kickstarter for Sorcery, a lot of the artists involved actually did artwork on the very early sets of Magic the Gathering, so that's very exciting. I'm trying to open this without tearing the cardboard. There we go. There's a lovely safe packaging there. Good to see. couple more. There we go. Alrighty, so let's look through. So first we have the Avatar of Fire. Artwork by Severine Pinault. Absolutely beautiful. Ancient Dragon, an elite dragon of breathtaking majesty. Colicky Dragonettes. So again, I'll have a separate video up at some point on the rules and how to play and what all the bits and pieces are on the cards, but just for the basics, I've got the casting cost up here, so 3 mana required. You get your mana from each site that's on the battlefield that you play once per turn. These are your elemental thresholds required, so require 2 fire threshold, and unlike magic, just 1 stat there for power, which is used for attack and defense. And then the rarity is in this type line here where it says exceptional. So if I compare this to the ancient dragon here, this guy's an elite. And so interestingly, obviously in the pre-constructed deck, all of the cards are the same as any other 5 pre-constructed deck, but once we get to our boosters here, elites are sort of the rare of the pack, so you're expected to get 1 per pack. You can get unique cards. I believe there are a couple in the pre-constructed deck, which are sort of your mythic rare when comparing to Magic. Exceptionals are your uncommons, and then common cards are called ordinary. And they've sort of brought that into the actual gameplay itself. So again, comparing to Magic, where you can have up to 4 of any card in your deck for a constructed game. For Sorcery, it'll depend on the rarity of the card. So for an exceptional, which is the uncommon, you can only have 3 in your deck, but for an ordinary card you can have 4. Elites you can have up to 2, and uniques you can only have 1. So I find that a really interesting mechanic. Ooh, Incinerate, ordinary magic of Draconic Conflagration. Deal 4 damage to each other unit at target location. So a lot of the gameplay is based on actually the locations on the, you can say, board, similar to a board game on the battlefield. So a lot of tactics required in how the game is played. Firebolts, another ordinary card. Heat Ray. Just never get tired of looking at these. Beautiful. Fireball, again, very iconic names. Second copy of Fireball, which is fine because it's an exceptional card. Minor Explosion. Ordinary magic of Proximal Implosion. Look at that. Look at that guy. He's not having a good day. Two copies of that one. Major Explosion. A tremendous blast of elite magic. Wildfire. Just stunning. All of these artworks were hand-painted originally when they were commissioned specifically for this game. Well, not all was commissioned for the game. There are some classics, I don't think in this pre-constructed deck, but Frank Frazetta, who's a very well-known artist, has a couple of pieces commissioned for the game. So I've got Blaze, Quarrelsome Kobolds, Sacred Scarabs. So this is Melissa Benson, who did some work for the early Magic the Gathering sets, including Alpha, I believe. So she's here for another Alpha set of a card game. 2 copies of the Scarabs there. Ral Dromedary. Yes, he definitely looks indifferent. 2 of him. Pit Vipers. Look at that. It's amazing. So the skills there, lethal, which is similar to Death Touch in Magic, and Burrowing, which is obviously a unique mechanic to this game because of the way the field plays out. We'll go into that one a bit later, I think. 2 Pit Vipers. Ogagoons. Clamor of Harpies. Yeah, it's not afraid to have a bit of... what's that? What's going on back there? What's that? Not afraid to have a bit of interesting artwork. Definitely wouldn't get a run in modern Magic the Gathering sets. No fear in sorcery. Anything goes. Hillock Basilisk. Bull Demons of a Doom. Let's look at those guys. Stunning. Petrosian Cavalry. Rimland Nomads. So yes, another skill there. Movement +1. So obviously, based on where your sights are, which we'll get to at the end. There's a bunch of sights, obviously, in the pre-constructed deck. They're necessary to play. Wayfaring Pilgrim. When he enters the corner of each realm for the first time, you may draw a card. So he'll go moving around. And when he gets to the corner, you draw a card. Seems pretty good. Oh, here we go. Here's our first unique in the pre-constructed deck. So, Doomsday Prophet. A unique mortal prognosticates the end. Nearby units take double damage except from strikes. Strikes being battle damage, but so we've got a lot of direct damage spells in this deck. We've got our fireballs, things like that, so he's definitely going to help that along. Sandworm, Burrowing and Landbound. Wills or the Wisp. Who did this one? Vasily? Awesome work. Love it. Infernal Legion. Another Melissa Benson classic. Look at that. Just look at his teeth there. Deal 3 damage to each other adjacent unit. 6-drop. Powerful. Drums of Doom. And here we are into our sites. So these are all, so if you look at the card backs, so these ones are part of the spell book, which is sort of your normal library, but then all of your sites are part of the atlas. And you draw them separately, so there's never any issue about being mana screwed in this game. Because if you need to draw a card from the atlas, you choose to draw from your atlas that turn, which is a really good mechanic, I think. So being the fire deck, we're going to have a lot of deserts here, I believe. So we've got the red desert, Genesis being the enters the battlefield mechanic for this game. I'm going to have a few red deserts, I believe. It's an ordinary site. So I've got 3 of those. We have the remote desert, which, if you look, even though it has a different name, has the same Genesis ability there. Got 3 of those. Arid Desert, again, the basic fire threshold site. So I've got probably 3 of those as well, I suspect. A few more interesting ones here. So we've got Shifting Sands. an exceptional sight of unsettled animosity. So the genesis of this is you re-trigger genesis of each desert nearby. So I've got 3 of those. Standing Stones, Elite. Minions here are spellcasters. So you obviously have your avatar as a representation of you on the battlefield that moves around like a normal unit. But only your avatar or a spellcaster can actually cast the spells in the game. But Standing Stones makes all your minions spellcasters. So quite powerful. Vesuvius, unique. Look at the art on that one. River of Flame, wow. The Sight is a fire spellcaster. That's really cool. And lastly, I love this artwork. Cornerstone. So there we go. That is the Fire Preconstructed deck from Sorcery. I hope you enjoyed going through that with me. We'll sleeve them up, go through one of the other decks as well, and then we'll look at a game a bit later on. Thanks for joining me. Catch you next time.